Kamala Harris says she is ready to take over. Here's a clip.
Throughout American history, presidents used foreign summits as an opportunity to forge alliances, negotiate trade deals, and stop deadly conflict. Franklin Roosevelt used the Yalta Conference to put an end to World War II. Ronald Reagan used his meeting with Gorbachev in Geneva to mark the beginning of the end of the Cold War. Donald Trump's summit in Singapore with Kim Jong-un significantly eased tensions on the Korean Peninsula. But when the American president doesn't show up, our allies and enemies notice. And Joe Biden just no-showed the ASEAN summit in Indonesia. This is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Indonesia is hosting this year. It has the largest economy in Southeast Asia and is a key strategic ally to contain the Chinese. The Washington Post calls Biden's no-show a mistake. It's one thing to skip the dinner at the summit, as Biden often does.
Of course it's a mistake.
The whole summit is suspicious, especially considering the influence the Chinese have on the Bidens. And it's not like Biden's busy visiting East Palestine. Next week, he's supposed to fly out to India and then Vietnam. Back-to-back Asian jaunts would likely be too taxing on the president, so the president sent Kamala instead. And if you've ever wondered what a Harris presidency would look like, feast your eyes on this. We just realized we haven't seen much of Kamala recently, but we did some digging. Since the Biden-Harris re-election campaign announcement in April, Kamala has had 27 days with nothing on her schedule.
Wow.
A month off.
A whole
we have
month?
No idea where Kamala's been or
she's
who
like
she's
Joe Biden
been with, what she's been doing. And it's interesting that Kamala has had a whole month off this summer and no one noticed. The events she has done are not what you'd consider substantive. Greetings for the LSU women's basketball squad, attending a concert on Juneteenth and being the artificial intelligence czar. But I have
what the hell? How's she qualified to be that?
Like wearing the colorful shirts. Now, Primetime's told all leaders are required to sport these locally woven button-downs. And I, for one, think Kamala strikes a formidable and fashionable statement. Last year, Biden, safe to say, did not pull off the look.
Oh, geez. He looks like the creepy grandpa that he is.
So Kamala was in charge, and
like
she granted an interview to the AP. The reporter basically asked her, "Why are you here?" And this was her answer.
I feel very strongly about the importance as a general matter of engaging in U.S. policy as it relates to foreign
You think she's going to mention a diagram?
In a way that we pay attention, of course, to the immediate concerns and threats if they exist, but that we also pay attention to 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what we are developing now that will be to the
This woman can now speak. It's crazy. She's even a politician. She's so long-winded.
I'm going to read you word for word what she just said. Ready? I feel very strongly about the importance as a general matter of engaging in U.S. policy as it relates to foreign affairs in a way that we pay attention, of course, to the immediate concerns and threats if they exist, but that we also pay attention to 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what we are developing now that will be to the benefit of our country then. Why does she make it so hard? Just say you're executing the Biden foreign policy in the Pacific to strengthen our partnerships and our military alliances.
Hey, bro, at least she didn't talk about diagrams or buses, okay? Give her a little bit of credit. Maybe she's improving a tiny little bit.
As we see the rise of China. That's it. Why can I do that and she can't? But Kamala broke some big news
She's very unqualified for her job.
When asked about Joe's health, she said she's ready to take over the job of president. But she says, don't worry, the president's fine. Not great, just fine.
Do you feel prepared for that possibility? And serving as vice president prepared you for that job?
Yes. I'm answering your hypothetical. But Joe Biden's going to be fine. Right. So that is not going to come to fruition. But let us also understand that every vice president understands that when they take the oath,
how she talks,
that they must be very clear about the responsibility they may have to take over the job of being president. I am no different.
When a woman says everything's fine, is it? And Kamala isn't like all the other vice presidents. She's serving under the oldest president in the history of America. What you should have said is that the president's in great shape and it's not even an issue I've ever even thought about. That's it. So why didn't Kamala cackle? Why was she so somber and explicit about the succession plan? Well, the Harris White House is coming into sharper focus. She's watching the throne. The choreography is crystal clear, strutting through columns of armed men, the pageantry, the pomp and circumstance. Signals to Democrats.
Did
and
she
especially
just set this up
Gavin Newsom,
herself?
This is
Not
how you
just
do
for
it,
every
and
leader?
don't you dare stop it.
That's
In fact,
wild.
Team Kamala is leaking that if Newsom challenges her for the nomination, she'd paint him as racist. But the new Biden biography portrays a Kamala Harris not as powerful, but as picky, petty, and
What an
insecure.
idiot. Yeah, that's going
Biden's
to work.
Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, found Kamala to be a lost cause. Quote, he felt Harris kept making life excessively difficult by imposing all sorts of constraints on herself. She told him that she didn't want to work on women's issues or anything to do with race.
What?
She wanted her office to be majority female and to have a black woman as chief of staff. To Klain's ear, she was creating too many rules, and they made it hard for her to find her footing. Kamala didn't want to work on female or black issues, but she wanted a majority of her staff to be female or black.
Oh,
The Biden biographer also said that Kamala quit her job as border czar. Quote, she let the criticism guide her. Instead of diligently sticking to the Central America assignment, she seemed to accept the conventional wisdom about it. It was a futile gig. Biden making her border czar felt like a sadistic hazing ritual. The Biden-Kamala weekly lunches have almost stopped completely.
wow.
The biographer says Biden didn't feel especially obliged
They don't even
to
have
coach her
weekly
along.
lunches.
And behind the scenes, Joe Biden was openly joking about replacing Kamala with Dr. Fauci. He wanted another old white male. Biden would jokingly direct Fauci to sit in the vice president's chair.
That is kind
But
of
joking
funny,
aside,
you know.
Joe Biden didn't
I don't
put
think
much
Biden's
stock
funny,
into
but that is
Kamala's
funny.
political future and is running for re-election because he believes Kamala would get smoked in a general.
I think he looks at the threat that Trump poses to the country and he says, I'm the safest bet in that battle against Trump, which is obviously an incredibly subjective analysis, but it is grounded on the fact that he actually is the Democrat who beat Trump in 2020. And also, if there was a primary and if you just don't know what happens when you open up the doors to an alternative.
Someone who deftly zeroed in on the Biden-Harris conundrum was Nikki Haley, who said this.
Kamala is not up for the job, and I will continue to say a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. That's who we're actually running against.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Yeah, who cares what Nikki Haley thinks? Yeah, but it's funny that Kamala's is like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the job. Of course she wants it. She's been zeroing in on it for day one, since day one. Do you think like every vice president pretty much is like that though? But yeah, she's like, oh, I'm gonna give me it, give me it, give me it, give me it. And then she gets replaced. Wouldn't that be wild? Has that ever happened? Like not in modern American history, right? Where a president runs again, the incumbent, but they get a different vice president. That would be very interesting. He goes against Gavin Newsom instead. He won't, though. He'll just keep this idiot, which is funny because it's obviously because of her race and her gender why I even picked her in the first place. But now it's just like people see her all the time on the national stage, and it's like, ooh, I don't know how much that's important anymore. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.